folks. Hey, hey, hey. What's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up? You guys enjoying the holiday week? I should film a whole video upside down like this until all the blood in this head goes from the other head to this. Anyways, so folks, today we're going to talk about why the flow of money, financial video. We're not going to rail on Hasbro and Mark Bottomwater today. Today we're going to talk about just straight up finance. We're going to have a real conversation because a lot of my patron messages, a lot of discussion is revolving around, Rudy, when you think the collectible world will boom. Well, it's going to be a while, Timmy. Buckle up, Buttercup, because shit ain't going up anytime soon. Rudy, I've lost everything in the graded video game world. Okay, well, if you're buying $50,000 to $100,000 Mario Brothers that are being inflated by these guys that were faking it, it kind of sucks, but bro, I mean, did you not see the warning signs? Today I want to start with a little bit of real estate conversation with interest rates and everything going on, and I want to show you how that kind of is a pretty strong analogy for the collectible world and how everything is correlated, connected, and blah, blah, blah. So first, obviously we know interest rates have gone up at the fastest rate of increase. The velocity of change is the highest, quickest uptick in rates maybe since the 80s when the old Faulkner man. All I know is in the last 40 years, maybe all time, there's never been another time, at least since I've been alive, where the Federal Reserve has done literally triple quarter point basis point, like 75 basis point increases back to back to back. I mean, just cramming it down our throats. And we are not enjoying the experience. So let's start off here. When money's cheap, people leverage it, they over leverage, and let me say it another way. They engage in too much leverage and risk. Because the greed monster kicks in. And, well, I mean, if you can borrow money at a 1%, 2%, 3% rate, whether it's a mortgage or a loan, it's not very hard to outpace the 3% cost of capital. Okay, that's kind of the generic principle and the basic foundation of this video. Now that we have the average, margin rate in a brokerage firm, if you're a multimillionaire and you have $100 million in, ABCXYZ stock, and you can borrow against that up to maybe, let's say you borrow $50 million against your $100 million in, equity. And let's say your borrowing rate is, 2-3%, which is what it was a year ago. I mean, borrowing $50 million against $100 million in equity assets at only a couple percent interest, and that interest is tax deductible. Seek a licensed tax advisor, not a guy who uses a coupon and sells one share Hasbro to buy a haircut. It's very difficult to lose money, especially if you diversify and spread it around and you do a lot of different things. It's very difficult. The odds, as they say, I hope the odds are forever in your favor, but the odds are pretty slanted in your favor. So that led to a lot of, inflationary upward pressure. And, in the last 20 years and everything, even through the 08 and 2020 and all this stuff, real estate has appreciated quite a bit. A lot of people argue for the different reasons for it. A lot of people say it's due to Wall Street pushing up prices and buying out all the houses in their area and turning them all into rental properties, which these are all valid things. A lot of people just say, well, these are side effects of the Fed keeping rates low. These are side effects of a government and a certain political party allowing lower income and ninja loans, no income verification stuff and subprime. And you can point to all these different things, which all do have effects. I don't believe any singular reason causes a major catastrophe. I think it's a sum of many different Tetris pieces that come together and hit the mega Tetris bonus. And the basic fundamental situation of where we are is with real estate, we had publicly traded companies with extreme amounts of capital that had a lot of corporate employees that were told, you need to park this money and make us money. Period. That's it. And these companies on Wall Street were able to float $1 billion bond, literally B with a billion. These companies could issue $1 billion corporate piece of paper in the debt market. And the coupon rate would be like 3%. Some outrageous amount, okay? And suddenly, they have access locked in. Maybe it's a 5, 10, 20, 30-year bond. And I mean, if they have a good credit rating and if they only have to issue the bond with a 3% coupon, I mean, they didn't really have anywhere else to park the money besides, well, crypto, collectibles, and real estate. And starting with the real estate, well, it's not really hard to go in parts of the United States and find basic lower income housing for 1, 2, even 300,000 in higher end areas. You can buy basic housing for a couple $100,000 for a single family home, and well, you can turn into rental property. And because the prices were low after the 2020 crash and money was cheap, if you were an alchemist, this is the perfect formula to literally have. Because I remember, do you guys remember 2 years ago, all these people upset about Wall Street buying all this real estate and all this stuff, but nobody really stopped to ask, how come all of a sudden, out of the last so many years or generations, why all of a sudden was Wall Street obsessed with buying out Main Street and real estate? Are we going to be in the United States? Are we going to be a country where everything is owned by corporate Wall Street and we're all just renters and you will own nothing and be happy? Is that? But nobody really stopped to ask is why now? What changed? And the most basic answer, and there's a lot of other variables, but we're going to simplify things for this video. But the most basic answer is, the government, the Federal Reserve, allowed for very cheap money machine go burr, and it allowed tremendous leverage and tremendous access to cash at almost free. I always considered, if you have access to borrowing money and you can get capital at less than 5%, anything in the 4s or below. Growing up in my life in business school, when I had a real job and I only lived in the 3rd floor basement before I moved up to the 2nd floor basement, I always believed anything at 4% or less was free money. That was always kind of the fundamental thing of people who trained me. And, when I was a little mentor, intern, all this stuff, when I was into that, I was always kind of taught that. Under 4% or less, in the 4s or below, was always free money. And remember, I think this is a good moment to talk about money itself. Money is utility. Money doesn't make you happy. Money doesn't make you angry. Money itself can't ruin lives. Money is a utility that allows certain individuals who obtain it to have access to more choice. If that individual chooses to make disciplined, prudent choices, money can lead to a happier, healthier, more stable life. That is just the reality of it. If an individual with a lot of money makes poor choices, or hookers and blow, and crazy gambling and ladies of the night, and all in on $200,000 graded VGA video games, or money can cause a lot of problems and ruin lives and everything. That's just a fact. Money is a very powerful yet very dangerous thing. At the same time, money has saved people's lives and money has ruined people's lives. And how you approach money as a utility is going to dictate your relationship with money. And this is how I view things. So when you guys view things with me, why does I get stuff all the time. Good segue in this video. Why is Rudy still working? Why is he even doing the new magic sets? Why isn't the guy literally just randomly sell things, or just disappear, or just live on inventory selling he has? I could do that. That is a very real thing I could do if I chose to do it. But for someone like with my wiring and mindset, I don't view it that way. I view money and inventory and assets and things as it's the chase and the challenge. It's being a part of it. I like to be involved. It gives me purpose. It gives me excitement. I like riding. I like being on the ride. And I'm very fortunate, and I'm very blessed and fortunate to be able to do something that I enjoy. Most of the time, the things I do, I enjoy doing. The toughest part about the job, as with any job, is, well, many times the people are pretty harsh. Many customers or commenters or viewers or even patrons, people sign up, just to attack or curse or threaten. And but that's the 2022 culture we live in. You're not going to ever be able to please everybody. And if you try to please everybody, as Wizards of the Coast will tell you, Mark Bottomwater will tell you, if you make endless products to please everybody, based on the echo chamber and the noise online, you are guaranteed to anger everybody and please nobody. And as time progresses, eventually they will turn on you. We talked about when about 2020, I had many posts out to individuals and patrons, and I warned people, as Flesh and Blood, MetaZoo, and even Weiss, and these other card games I'm a part of, become bigger, expand, successful, whatever the direction is, the market will eventually turn on me. And people will eventually say that, he's made it worse. And, I just wish Rudy didn't have the access to that, or Rudy wasn't a part of that, or Rudy always is. That is a natural progression of the, chain of life. I don't know, as you go down the game board. Eventually people are thankful, they discover something or they like something, they're skeptical of something, but eventually they will, at least a chunk of it, the base of people will turn on you. They will eventually start getting suspect. Maybe other people continue to make videos about you or say things that are a little crazy. And, some of those things, while most people think they're goofy, some people will believe them because that is just how the internet works. So when you put all this together, now let's step back to the money situation. So like I keep saying, money's utility. And for a long time on this channel, we talked about cash is trash. Now, for the first time in my adult career, Rudy, you don't have a career. Yeah, I know. Your wife's boyfriend tells me that when we play checkers. Money is no longer trash. Cash is now in style. It is the flavor of the year. It's the flavor of the month. Cash is now king, and cash is an attractive asset class for the first time in a very long time. So something I've had discussions with family members is we recently, I thought you guys would appreciate the story. And then we're going to move on away from real estate and we're going to jump to collectibles and crypto. So I had an interesting conversation with a family member, and I'm sitting down, and it was a nice evening, and I was just relaxing after, working in truckloads of mail and filming and replying and, all this stuff. That's just the normal routine. And we had a conversation about a small entry-level $250,000 basic rental property here in North Florida. Okay? I know, and people in New York and California are like, 250,000? What is that, the parking space? What is that, a 100 square foot closet over the Taco Bell? I know. But just humor me on the story, because this is going to mean a lot to some of you who actually want to be critical thinkers and want to better yourself. So follow me on this. So this $250,000 property is currently renting for $1,500 a month. We're going to assume the following assumptions of what's happening in this case study. A, the $1,500 a month, the tenant is not going anywhere. They never miss a payment. There are absolutely zero repairs. We live in a perfect bubble. Nothing goes wrong. And that is the assumption, is that the first of every month, the money shows up with no fees. Okay? So this $250,000 asset is generating $1,500 a month. Now, out of that $1,500 a month, your insurance, escrow, and taxes, no mortgage, we assume it's paid for, it's $300, let's just call it even $300 a month. Okay, actually, well, $400 a month. $400 a month. So this asset, that's $250,000 house, nets $1,100 a month of net rent after paying escrow. And this is assuming you're wealthy enough to have no lien on the property, no mortgage, no PMI, no insurance or principal. You literally just pay the escrow, which is usually taxes and insurance type thing. And we're assuming there's no homeowners association, all these beautiful rainbow scenarios. So in a normal scenario, $1,100 a month is about $13,000 a year. Okay? On a $250,000 property, netting $13,000 a year profit, net income, whatever you want to call it. What is that? Okay, well, $250,000. 10% would be $25,000. 5% would be about $12,500. So this property nets 5% a year profit in a perfect bubble, rainbow, butterfly, snowflake, Rudy's hairy face world. So it's like, okay, cool. So 5%, and that's net, and that's cool. And then, of course, hey, long term, the house will go up, right? Right? So in the last 2 years, for example, before interest rates went up, if I was working for a Wall Street firm and they allocated me, Rudy, here's $100 million for you and your team. I need you to buy X amount. I need you to deploy this $100 million in real estate in Northeast Florida. Pay cash, no liens, as is. Bring a team down there in Florida and take care of it and deploy this money and start generating revenue for our corporation. I'd say, no problem, boss. Thanks, home fries. So, and normally, I would present back to my upper management, I have located this $250,000 house, and it's going to generate 5% net after paying taxes and insurance. And they're going to say, oh, good job, Rudy. That's great, because our cost of capital is 3%. You're going to net 5%. And so essentially, you're almost doubling our money. If you can multiply that experience and deploy a full $100 million and $100 million and cost of capital is 3%, we're going to pay $3 million a year on interest, and Rudy's going to bring in $5 million a year. So Rudy's little team is going to net me $2 million a year profit. Okay? This is what a lot of private equity, different things, all this crap, and this is what, these type of things go on. This is real stuff, folks. So normally this would be an attractive thing, and this is one variable, not all of them, that led to a lot of inflation. And you can apply this to everything. You can take the word $250,000 house out of the equation and replace it with $250,000 in crypto, $250,000 in sealed product. You can use this example in any asset class. So on this property, that 5% is pretty attractive. There is just one problem. There's just one tiny problem, folks. We're assuming the bond and the cost of capital is fixed at 3%. Most of the time it is not. It is variable, floating, or fluctuating, or has a reset amount once a year or something. So that's a problem. Number two, what happens all of a sudden if I can log in and go to the fixed income debt market on my brokerage firm, and I'm seeing brokered CDs for 6% interest now? FDIC government-backed, insured CDs by the U.S. government, paying 6%. Now, hang on a second. So, for me to net 5% on real estate and take on all this risk and assume no problems, which, again, that's a beautiful fake example, I cannot do any of that risk and take on any other risks, and I can lock it in at 6% and do a bank CD now? Well, Rudy, CDs used to be 1-2%. Well, now they're 6%. And I go, oh. And if you're watching this video, December, I think the Fed has another meeting, and we're supposed to have another rate increase to go higher. So suddenly, wealthy individuals who are looking to park excess capital, because remember, wealthy people don't look at clocking in and out of jobs. They don't look at bonuses. They don't care. Their focus is not spending dollars to chase pennies. Their focus is to throw the pennies at all the annoying little things in life so that they can focus on finding the dollars. Okay? So suddenly, these individuals have the ability to engage in less risk with higher return in the vacuum of all this money going to collectibles, crypto, and real estate. The vacuum cleaner that she starts sucking with gets pushed in the other direction. And like we talked about on this channel, the flow of money will always flow in the path of least resistance. And suddenly, a door opened on the side door of your ex, and that door, an opportunity, was never there before. No giggities. We're being serious today, folks. And suddenly, money is now being diverted. Suddenly, rates keep going higher than expected. Inflation's worse than expected. Real estate tops out. And then suddenly, we start to learn that a lot of people were over-leveraged on Wall Street. Gee, what a surprise, on margin. And we're starting to learn that all these morons in the crypto space were 10x, 20x, I heard like 30, 40x leverage. Lending out crypto, using these overseas. The FTX thing is an absolute tragedy. I feel bad for all the regular working people who got hosed. Look, I still hold. Most of my money is just Bitcoin, Ethereum. I have a little bit of other things, but I don't want to promote crypto. But most of the stuff I hold is just because when I do transactions, I have a lot of individuals who pay me in crypto or pay me in Bitcoin and Ethereum. Most of my transactions that are crypto go through those two. Of course, USDC. I don't take USDT. I don't trust Tether. And most of the time I just keep it in Bitcoin and Ethereum. So obviously there's times when it tanks and I'm getting a lot more of Bitcoin. And there's other times when it's spiking and I'm getting a lot less, and now it's tanked and I have a lot less. But overall, I just keep it. I'm not really concerned. I don't hold it in custody overseas on some crazy exchanges. I don't do any of that. So what we didn't realize is a lot of these bad actors have no experience in these different market conditions. Again, this is the first time in this modern era that money is now expensive. And everybody has to rewire how you view things. the value in prices of things from 2020 and 2021 are invalid. There is no credibility to any pricing or any quotes or anything that if you give me, I have individuals who contact me saying, Rudy, I want to sell you this unlimited Mox Pearl. And I say, I'm not buying that. I only buy 30th anniversary Mark Bottom water cards. Please don't buy the 30th anniversary. And to clear up something really quick, because people there's this weird conspiracy theory going around that Rudy's saying he's not going to do box openings of Magic 30th, but he's specifically saying he's not going to do that, but he's not specifically saying he's not going to buy it all for himself. No, I'm not going to buy that fucking shit. I'm not going to air the video. I'm not going to buy Magic 30th. I'm not going to float and inflate Mark Bottom water. The spirit of the reserve list lives on in my left nut. And to clear any of this shady shit on the internet, I am not buying it for myself or any other entity. I am not buying it. I will not deploy any money into it. I hope that's crystal clear. Rudy specifically said he's not going to do a box opening for patrons. What about for himself? What if he does? What if he's just going to buy it, but he didn't say he wouldn't buy it? Stop with the conspiracy theories. Holy smokes, bro. So that's why I wanted to have a conversation today about money and the utility of money and the perspective of money. One of the biggest things that always triggers me and makes me go and my head turns into cabbage and rolls down the street is no, not Mark Bottom water and the reserve list and the spirit of his ex, but it's just the lack of education and in the lack of acknowledgement in how to approach and handle money as a utility. Money is something that we trade the most precious item in the world for, which is time. The reason you get angry and the reason it sucks when you lose money is because you know you had to work. Work is another kind of acronym in a trade over word or a synonym, whatever stupid English, I don't know any of that crap. Work is another term that represents trading time for the utility, which is money. So when you lose money, it feels like it sets you back. It makes you angry. It makes you feel behind. It makes you feel like you can't get that back. So, I think a lot of people need to rewire how they're approaching money. Okay? I look at money as something that I want to acquire, as with everybody else, as much as possible. I'm not going to pretend, I don't want to be a trillionaire on the moon. I wish I was. As with anyone who says that they don't want money and they'd rather be broke and not have a stable, safer, better environment and higher potential positive choices and odds for future their family and friends and people they care about is lying to you. And those are the people you need to be suspicious of. Because if they're willing to say things like that and say, it's not about the money. I'm here for you. Look, I'm here to defend your rights. I'm here for the community. People who pitch that kind of stuff, whether it's any category at all, those are the people that always get me uncomfortable. Because something's off with that. I've told you all from day one, yes, I'm trying to make money, as with all of you when you go to work every day. When I work and I film or I ship and I'm driving truckloads and I'm dealing with customers and people who hate me and anger and trying to handle problems, this is all part of just the world I've built around myself. And, everybody needs a better relationship with money because it will help you navigate and make better choices. When a lot of you out there are nickel and diming, or you're, Rudy, it's just $5 for vaping. It's not a big deal. I just get some drinks with my friends on the weekend. We go out to the bar or the restaurant. It's only one time a week. Even if it's $50 or $100, it's not much. You fail to understand, it's not $50 to $100. It's what the future potential value of what the utility and choice that money could be deploying for you. Because in 10, 20, 30 years from now, Rudy, I'm going to be dead by then. The odds are 99% of you watching this will not be dead in the next 10, 20, 30 years. There's always outliers and black swans that are absolute tragedies, but we can't live our life in that kind of fear and tragedy. Most of you watching will be around. And even nickel and diming small amounts of $50 or $100 can make substantial differences. It's the alligator mouth situation. On the left side of the alligator mouth, you have a tiny little point, and then the alligator mouth gets bigger. At today's tiny little point, the choices made today grow as time goes on because it slowly leads to other paths that lead you to further out directions that you may not want to end up with. And making better choices with a $50 to $100 could mean the difference of tens of thousands of dollars when you're older or your family, your parents or children may really need that. And when I approach things, I look at it like that. I look at this and say, okay, if I'm going to spend this $1,100 on 4 packs of Magic, even if it doubles in money, what is the long-term side effects, potential in other things that could lead to, even if I make a couple $100 after shipping and eBay fees on flipping these things to other Timmies? Is it worth it? What kind of precedent are you setting? What kind of side effects can that lead to because I made this choice with money, also known as utility, with another company? And this is why the next 7 days when this thing launches, Wizards won't tell us how much they sell. They're going to mark it sold out whether it sells out or not. And the only way we're going to know is watching the secondary market of how much shows up and how much is flipped and how the market reacts. Release plus 30, release plus 6 months. And then we'll be able to deduct and kind of figure out how much is really out there. And that's why I keep trying to explain to everybody, these choices in these moments are more important than you realize. And I encourage everybody out there to try to make better decisions with your money. Be respectful with the money. And again, with other people. Treat other people respectfully. I can't believe I have to say that in a fucking YouTube video. But even the people you don't like, these people who attack every day, make fun of me every day, say things about you or me or this and that, try to be respectful. And I know what you're thinking. This is coming from the guy named Rudy who's been literally on a warpath tearing up Hasbro. I do, because I see tremendous side effects and risk and danger long term. Not about today, not really about the Magic 30th, but what the tone and the new path that's going to unfold in a different direction because of it. That's what concerns me, not really the actual item itself. It's the new pathways and doors that are going to be unlocked that lead to very high risk scenarios. If this thing really internally, they pat themselves on the back with reach arounds and mouth hugs and they think everything's a home run. That's what scares the shit out of me. But anyways, back to everybody else out there. So back to collectibles and crypto. We already talked about the real estate side. So a lot of people are having a hard time understanding how things are still going down, why they're going down, and why things are still shitty. And the simple answer is, the market can stay irrational longer than you can stay solvent, which is why when these markets, and I noticed in the summer of 2022, a couple months ago, when I said things are really bad, we may have bottomed. I was calling a bottom, which so far, a lot of those things I had mentioned in the video with double masters, all that, quote unquote, have bottomed. In other words, they haven't gone lower than the previous bottom. But there are other things that have gotten worse. And some of that has been fueled by other entities making bad decisions. For example, Hasbro all of a sudden creating the term Amazon dump, which is now a mainstream collectible card Magic the Gathering community term. That never existed before a couple months ago. Before a couple months ago, there was nobody talked about Amazon dumps. It was not a mainstream collectible concept in the MTG community. Well, now that Wizards and Hasbro's made fucking stupid decisions, everybody and everything has changed. And everything now is going to require Amazon dump type pricing for fresh capital and money to be deployed because of how valuable cash is. You have to approach everything, now that we have a risk-free rate of essentially 5-6% long term for CDs and things, long term as in 3-year, 5-year, 8-year. You have to buy things and say, okay, if I'm using this as an investment and not a collectible or a game piece, as a lot of people think they should be, if I'm going to park money in this, whether it's a stock, a bond, a collectible, real estate, a crypto, Rudy's X, whatever it is that entity going to be outpacing, and does it have a higher chance of success than the 5% risk-free rate? And that's where things really get murky. Because I've told you guys many times over the years on my whiteboard videos, which I know they're coming back. It's been such a tough time, and not tough, but it's been tough. It's just been a very tough schedule for me, is the best of it. The schedule's been very brutal, and I haven't been able to get to that office to film that recently. I've been all over the place, as you guys have been seeing with the backgrounds. So I know it's a long video, but the number one issue with crypto right now is a lack of confidence in how many bad actors. Again, all these things collapsing and happening in crypto is not because Bitcoin sucks. It's because bad people and greedy people were corrupt and over-leveraged and lied and used customer funds and commingled and did dumb shit. And it's causing shockwaves and fear. Nothing with Bitcoin itself and the blockchain has changed. And I'm not even that smart when it comes to crypto. I don't even know nearly as much as a lot of you who, I know basics. So it gives it a bad name. Is crypto going to survive? Is Bitcoin going to survive and probably move up in the future? Who knows? Probably. The odds are more likely favorable than not. But, all these weird things. And I think there was somebody told me there's like 10,000 different blockchains and cryptos. Oh, please. Some of that's just goofy, man. But I mean, when we look at collectibles now, it's a similar thing. I did not realize how many individuals out there were over leveraged in collectibles, just like crypto, just like stock, and could be real estate. But we now know with the deleveraging and the fire selling of all these LGSs and people who were leveraged with 0% for 12 months credit cards, 0% for 6 months, maybe a loan for a couple percent, all these things that now that we're a year into this bear market, I think literally a year, November of last year is when things started crashing, right? And crypto's been going down since May of last year. So crypto's in year and a half of downturn. Collectibles are a year downturn, and real estate's only a couple months in on a downturn. So collectibles could easily go. 2008, when I was in that crash, and I had a real job as a licensed, broker at a big old financial firm and all that crap that failed, and I watched it all happen from the inside, front row seat. The stock market from Q3 of 27 to Q1 of 2009, March of 09, until we hit the S&P 500's devil's low of 666, it was literally like 17 months of declines. We're at like month 12 in the stock market and equities if you follow either the NASDAQ or the S&P, the SPYs. I think the Dow itself is doing a little better, but doesn't represent the overall economy in the market. It's only, Dow's only 30 companies. So the collectible world is in this stagnant, rough time. It is in a bear market it's not doing well. And, I don't think it's going to go to zero, even though we have the memes and all that stuff. But, with cash being expensive, all the speculators out there who over leverage and speculated are either going to be wiped out or are going to continue to deleverage, which is why you're seeing so many people sell products at a loss. A lot of these LGSs, because they've told me, they physically have told me, I'm not making it up, they've told me, they have. I know it's going to blow some of you's mind, but there are LGSs out there with $100,000, $500,000, $1 million lines of credit, business lines of credit, SBA loans, Small Business Association loans, for those you don't know what that is. They all have these loans that maybe they're locked in paying 3, 5, 7%, who knows? A lot of them had 1 or 2 years of interest-free grace periods. A lot of them were low interest rates that are now resetting. But the point is, they have to get these items off the books. It's not that Modern Horizons 2 or AOT, Attack on Titan, amazing franchise IP. Blows my mind how people think this is worthless. It blows my mind, which is why I have heavy bags, and I'm keeping my bags. And that's the difference, ladies and gentlemen, between Rudy of Alpha Investments and Timmy's Emporium. And the number one difference is I have zero leverage and zero debt. I will wait it out longer than anybody. I'm in my 30s. Yeah, that sounds good. Late 30s, mid 30s. I'm somewhere in my 30s. And I can wait longer. And I can outwait the bad bear market. I can last longer than the bear's hibernation. I can wait. I can make it longer than anybody. I have no problems. And I can wait 1 year, 3 more years. I'll wait fucking 10 years. I don't give a shit. I am not selling, Weiss boxes like everyone's doing at $30, $40 for some sets. I'm sure they're mapped and everything, but still, I am not selling, Pokemon boxes like some of these, Football Pete fucking shit. I don't want to get into that fucking fake store distributor shit. But, I'm not going to do that. Period. The long-term potential in the collectible space remains 100% intact, no matter how fucking retarded and stupid. I shouldn't use the retarded word. I feel bad for that. I apologize. I'm going to take that back. And no matter how fucking just asshole-ish Hasbro, the decisions and lack of respect that Hasbro, their behavior is just so dumb. No matter how disrespectful it is, they don't, the market will move on. They will be forced to eventually change. And you know what? All the tirade and all the stuff I've done to help get Hasbro and bring it to main light. The last week, the Rudy Hasbro tirade has brought in over 1.5 million views in 7 days. This channel has never had that many views in a week. Over 1 million views in 7 days. Actually, I think it's only day 5 that it's updated the data. So it's probably going to be almost 2 million views when it fully updates on day 6 and 7 on the internal data, because it kind of lags a few days. And I mean, I want, as Wizards proudly says, I want the world to know. And they will. And I think at the end of the day, no matter how Mark Bottomwater feels in the spirit of his face, they will be forced to change. And even if I have a 1% small chance of helping that change or pushing it, it's worth the time, the work. The music videos that don't get any money because of the music and the copyright, it doesn't matter if there's no money in it, they're not monetized. Even if there's a 1% chance that I can help inflict change, it, to me, a 1% chance of success and a 99% chance of failure is still worth it for me to get up, put the time into it, and do it for making no money on those videos. And I think the market is bigger. We will move on, and the world will make it. And hopefully, Hasbro eventually is forced to do the right thing and make changes. Hope you all learned something today. We will move forward. We will make it through the bear market. 2022 will eventually end, I know. We will move into 2023, and eventually something will pivot and change with Hasbro. The argument is when. Something will happen eventually, folks. I assure you, I don't know when. I don't know if it'll be for better or worse, but something will change. And collectible world, the crypto world, the real estate world, the equity Wall Street world will move on. I've been through a lot of crashes in my time. And, between these Stay the Course 2020, the 2008 disaster when I was young and stupid, the .com thing, the 9/11 thing in September and 01, all these different things. I've been through a lot, I've seen a lot, and there's one common variable. The people who have the balls to hang on and to not over leverage, don't be the greed monster, the ones that come out the other end of the tunnel, solvent, and hold their positions in shares and inventory, come out far better than you can comprehend right now. And I think in 3 to 5 years from now, anyone who didn't liquidate and nuke everything, the videos at that time, about this time period, are going to be legendary. Have a beautiful day, everybody. Enjoy your holidays. And one last thing, make sure you check out the final video, the final music video series against Hasbro, titled The World Will Know. But I'm not going to launch it till the holidays because I know Wizards of the Coast will be closed because they're going to try to get it taken down and copyright strike. So we're going to launch it during the holidays. As always, folks, have a beautiful day. Keep the bad people away from you. Spend time with positive people that benefit your life. And as always, here's a picture of my penis. Have a beautiful day.